Hey, what's going on, you guys? I wanted to do like I guess, real life talk with Paul this morning and stuff to address a few things and whatnot to help some of you out there who may be going through a hard time and whatnot. But I guess it all kind of started with some things that have happened with a few people that I know and everything else, and times get tough. And then I kind of reflected on life a little bit yesterday. Yesterday wasn't a tough time by any means, but, things popped up and things happened. And for example, one of the hot water tanks in one of my rental properties happened to just, die. And I'm like, oh, well, shit, and I go and I get a quote, and the quote was for like $1,100 for this hot water tank. And I was like, whoa, now, whoa. I was like, that's a little steep for me. And can I afford it now? Yes, I can. And that was one of the first reflections, where I was like, wow, in the past, when I was growing and struggling and building these businesses, I really had to pinch pennies, you know what I mean? And obviously spend less than I was making to be a successful business owner. And I guess maybe a little bit of that came out in me, where I was pinching pennies and stuff. Not a bad thing. Most entrepreneurs and other successful business owners out there do the same thing. Now, could I have paid them? Of course, but I was like, no, I can go buy a hot water tank for $400, 40-gallon one, gas. I know how to hook it up. I know how to install it, plus all the pipes and fittings and everything else. So the worst case scenario, I spend $500. So right there and then, I just saved about $700, and being able to reflect on that, and you guys will understand where I'm getting at with this here in a bit. I was able to be like, wow, I can't afford it, but the guy that I was growing and grinding and fighting to get these businesses off the ground still popped up a little bit, was like, no, I know what I can do and how I could do this, and it did affect my day and everything else. I wasn't able to practice with the kids over at the college like we were supposed to and everything else. Also found out in that quadruplex that I'm going to have to replace another hot water tank next month. Luckily, it's still working, but it's on its last leg. So, in other words, all in all, I saved some money. I reflected on, I guess, just life, being that I'm like, okay, even though I wasn't able to do this and do this today like I was supposed to, at least I was capable of doing it. I've learned these life skills, or maybe it's not even a life skill, it's stuff that most people don't even know how to do in order to get it done and be able to save money, grow, and so on and so forth. Going all the way back in time to, like my childhood, and you guys will see where I'm going with, you'll see where I'm going with this here. But, growing up on our farm, things always broke down. Things always went wrong, and my father was a terrible alcoholic. He never did shit, He was abusive verbally and physically, and, always put the blame on us for things. But, lo and behold, we found out he was just a weak, brittle, old man narcissist that, felt shitty about himself on the inside, so he would take it out on others to make himself feel better. So, I learned those life skills there. Tractor breaks down, a piece of equipment broke down, I had to learn how to do these things in order to survive, to live, to fight, or we die, basically. Not to be so dramatic, we wouldn't die, but either way, I had to learn how to weld, I had to learn how to fix things, I learned how to, just anything, whatever it took, to get it done, and a lot of it was on the go. And those life lessons crossed into yesterday. And then from there, getting into like a deeper topic, it also, those times, when I was a young man, and even a kid basically, things were tough. Things were rough. He was always, just being abusive, plain and simple. I didn't feel like I was worth anything. I had no worth. I didn't feel like living anymore. I wanted to die at multiple points in time in my life. And only then, when I realized my skills and my strengths, did it start to lead in a little bit of successes. And if you guys have watched some of these other live videos of mine before and in the past, you always need a spark of influence. And I always tell you guys it was my grandfather. He, hands down, he was that little spark, that little light. And that's really why I'm trying to make this video for you guys. So maybe I could be that little spark, that little light, because I understand my purpose now and my story to share that with you guys that might be struggling and having a hard time out there. And from there, growing up, I now understand, like, okay, I accomplished this. Okay? Oh, the tractor broke down, but I fixed it. How? I don't know. You know what I mean? Either way, you learn those little skills as you go, and they start to snowball. And they start to snowball more and more and more and more, and you start to find a self-worth. So for you guys out there that might be suffering, you know, deep down inside, and, you know, you feel that you have no self-worth. You're depressed. You're not happy. You know, the next thing is, my old man, he was a piece of shit narcissist alcoholic. Okay, well, he just suffered from bipolar depression, if we want to get into it like a medical term, you know, and then he coped with alcohol. He was also, you know, very narcissistic and so on. So my first identification with him and realizing that he was poison and he was pulling me down and he wanted to pull me down to his level was my first step to recovery. So from there, I was able to grow, get past him, get out of that household, and be on my own. Now, was it easy? Fuck no. Fuck no. That was some of the hardest shit I've ever had to go through in my entire life. On your own at 18 years old, you got to pay for everything. You don't know what's going on. Nobody tells you how to juggle a checkbook, do taxes, anything. You got to learn on your own. But one thing I can say is I was willing to learn and I was willing to grind and push myself. So in order to get out of this rut, I'm telling you guys over this almost 30 years of my life, to get to the point to where I am today, where I can truly say I am happy and I am financially stable and I feel successful and everything else. And then back to that, I kept growing. But the problem was I had habits, and they were bad habits. And they were inviting bad people into my life because that's all I knew. I knew his characteristics. I didn't really know the people that were the light, the people that were there to help me, the people that were there to lift me up and see me do good. Not the ones that were like, oh, I want to see you do well, but not better than me, and they try to sabotage you secretly behind your back. Those people, unfortunately, exist more than the good. The good people out there want to build you up. They want to see you succeed. They don't care what you're doing because they're worried about themselves, and not in a selfish way. They have their goals. They have their dreams. They're going to live it. They have their own path to walk, and you have your own as well. So I started to discover that I had that habit of inviting these narcissistic people into my life. And it was dragging me down and wearing me out. And they were like a leech, and they're sucking the life out of me. And you don't know really what's going on until you really start to evaluate the situation. What is the common denominator in this? And the common denominator was me. It was me, and it was the people I was inviting into my life. And then once I started to realize that, and I hate to bring it up, I'm not trying to belittle her or anything else like that, the biggest one was my ex-wife. You know, when I went through severe depression, trying to support her and her dreams of owning and operating a salon and everything else, and I was working all day with my businesses and then going to a midnight shift, working on a dock, loading freight, and so on and so forth. I was beating myself into the ground, literally, with 2 hours of sleep at best, while trying to chase a powerlifting career, while trying to be the best that I can be as a business owner and everything else. My dreams and everything were put on hold. That is not a relationship, okay? That is almost a dictatorship, to where they dictate what you do because it benefits them. Not you, not the whole, not as a team, only them. And it was only the one day, I don't even know what it was, something inside of me told me, this will not be you, this will not be the end. And then I rose above that. I left that relationship to find nothing but peace and happiness ever since. You know, I'm really not trying to belittle her. I'm not, you know, it just, that was the situation. That is what happened. You can't argue the facts. But from there, I've continued to grow, and I grew rapidly. And then I could truly identify who was a piece of shit in my life, and started cutting them and cutting them and cutting them and cutting them and cutting them, and my circle got smaller and smaller and smaller. But then the right people were invited into my life, and then I started to grow. I started to feel stronger. I started to feel better. And I was like, wow, this is a no-brainer. You know, these people were here because they want to see me succeed. That was the biggest eye-opening experience, and it took me years to understand that. And then to be able to feel successful, to be able to feel basically loved and wanted by these people was amazing, versus those kind of narcissists that want to pull you down. They don't want you to be successful. I've had people tell me, you know, especially in the business world, oh, don't do this, don't do that because so-and-so deserves it. Fuck that. So-and-so deserves that. I deserve a shot. We all deserve a shot. We all deserve a chance, but there is only a certain amount of people that are willing to take the step, that are willing to work their asses off and do what it takes to be the best. Okay? Now, like I said, I'm trying to share this only because, you know, there's been some tough times with some friends and stuff, and I just want to get like my message and my word out there in the best way that I can put it, that the only way that you're going to be able to get out of that rut, out of that pain, we'll say, is being able to self-identify what is wrong, what is going on, where do you come from, who is who, and then you go from there. And then you start recognizing the red flags. And even to this day, you know what I mean? I just had to get rid of a narcissistic person. But I knew the red flags so fast that I don't even think they understood what was coming. You know? And boom, called them out. Boom, called them out. Panicked. Literally up and left town. You know what I mean? So, good. Now I know and I can identify. And those are the people you need to cut out of your life. Because those people out there with depression, or, you know, in that bit of sadness and that cloud over their head, I don't think they're weak people at all. I think they have a very strong mind, to be honest with you. I just think it's too strong. You dwell on things and you look back. But I'm going to try to remember here one of the best things I think I've read. And I do read, okay? I know you guys find it hard to believe since I'm a meathead and all, but I do like to read. I do like to listen to things, audiobooks and so on, because I want to continue to learn. And anxiety, okay, is living in the future. And depression is living in the past. And we need to live in the present. We need to live day by day by day. Whatever the world is going to bring you, you need to be ready for. And you need to be trained for it. Because each and every day you grow stronger and stronger and stronger. So you'll be able to handle those situations. Life doesn't get easier. You just get stronger. That's all it is. And that's where I wanted to go back to the beginning, where I was telling you guys a little bit of my businesses, what I had to do, just fixing a hot water tank. It was no big deal, but how instinctively I reacted to it, and I was able to do what was necessary to get it done. And I wasn't going to dwell on things where I was like, oh, I can't get this done today, I can't get this or that, or I'm late. And I was even late to lifting with the guys, but I still got my lift in. I still got to do my yoga. Yes, I'm doing yoga and everything else. And it all fell into place then. You know, I attacked it head on. Don't get me wrong, I got there and I was like, I don't feel like doing this. I don't want to do this, you know. Fuck that. You put your next foot in front of the other and you do it, okay? If it takes you 6 hours, if it takes you an hour, you do it. You get it done. And that is how you get moving forward and you become a happier, more successful person. One foot after the other after the other. And it's easier said than done, because some days you feel like 1,000,000 pounds. I will wake up and I will feel like 1,000,000 pounds, and it is hard to roll out of bed. It is so hard. But you got to be self-driven. You got to understand that people are there. They're counting on you. They want to see you do well, and that's why you need that light in your life, and you need those good people around you. Once you get those good people around you, you will see nothing but up. You will be nothing but happy. You know, whether that's your partner, you know, man, woman, whatever, friends, family, be around good people that want to see you succeed, okay? That was the message I wanted to get out there, guys. I hope it helps. I mean, these live videos are on the fly, obviously. I wanted to just give you a little bit of, you know, how I correlate in my life with present, future, past, whatever. So if you guys have any questions for me, please feel free to DM me and everything else. Ask me questions. I'm here for you guys, okay? Not just so much on like the lifting end of things, but, you know, for your mental health as well. I've been there. I've done that. I've seen things. I've gone through some things, you know? And I want to let you guys know that there is light at the end of the tunnel. You can get through this. You could be a better person. And when you look back, you'll be like, they almost ended me. but they weren't strong enough. They weren't tough enough. And you're ready for the next challenge, and you just got that much stronger. But okay, guys, if you have any questions for me, feel free, reach out, DM me. You guys know my page here and Facebook and so on. I'll even post this up to YouTube. You guys can comment on a video there. All right, thank you, guys. Talk to you later.